Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cheyenne, and I am a mom, wife, rancher, business owner, nurse, and I am just on a budgeting journey to decrease my debt, save up money for vacations. We've got some goals of wanting to start an Airbnb business, wanting to start some new businesses. Um, and we are just trying to be financially free and just not have to worry about our money all the time. So, if any of that interests you, I hope that you like and subscribe to my channel. Be sure to leave a comment down below and just say hey and let me know how things are going for you and kind of what journey you've got going on. So, I wanted to show you my workflow and kind of how I budget. So I use the Budget Moms workbook right now, and I currently have July and August all budgeted out. So I wanted to just start with September and kind of show you what I do to budget, like my fixed expenses, my variables, my savings, and then debt as well. And then over here, there's this awesome little spot for your cash breakdown. So if you are doing cash envelopes, you can write like groceries and you want $600 or $500 or whatever that may be. And then over here, you can do your cash denomination breakdown. So you can say, I want 450s or 4100s or whatever that looks like. You can write some thoughts about your money spending, and then here's a little goal spot, which is fun. I like to usually put my priority goal for the month, whether that's um, putting money into our sinking funds or our 6 month ahead binder, or if that's putting any extra funds towards debt, whatever that looks like. I just kind of like to put that here as a little reminder. So currently, I get paid once a month, and I will put that amount here that I'm budgeting for. I'm not going to put the exact amount there just because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do that. Something I kind of need to look into if I'm allowed to share my income or not. So for now, I'm just going to leave that blank, but I will go through and kind of let you know how I budget out all of my bills. So I usually start with when they're due and then work my way down. And if you get paid multiple times throughout the month, so if you get paid weekly or bi-weekly, in this book, there are multiple sheets that you can use. So it's a paycheck. You're budgeting per paycheck. So, like I said, for me, my main paycheck is once a month. And so I budget all of my expenses off of this paycheck um, for the whole month. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so let's get into this. So, for my budgeting, I start at my fixed expenses. So, these are going to be all of the bills that come out of my checking account. They come out every month, and they are usually the same amount of money. So, I start here and I just work my way down. So, for Edward Jones, this is our retirement fund. Every month, right now, we are putting $200 into our Edward Jones account. So I just write 200 here. And then when that comes out of my account, I'll come in here and put the actual amount. Every month, I donate $5 to the Bible app. So again, I'll put the actual amount here. I budget $200 for my electric bill. Sometimes it's 200, sometimes it's a little less. So again, when it does come out of my account, I'll put the actual amount here. My husband, he does like YouTube music or Google Music or some kind of music that he subscribes to for the gym. Let's see, I think I typically budget 15 for that. Give me 1 second. Music 15. All right, so we will put 15 there. The gym, I will budget $50. And again, that's for my husband's gym membership. Our boat, I am going to budget 350. Grand River, this is just a medical bill that I have for my son. And so this one I am budgeting 300. I had already wrote internet in here. My internet is I think it's around like 70 or $80. I always budget 100 just as that little buffer. So if anything were to change, that I had that in there. So I budget 100 for that. Our phone bill, I budget 200 for. Kindle, I budget 12 for, and this is just for Kindle Unlimited subscription. For my son's private preschool, I don't know exactly how much his tuition is going to be. So right now I'm going to budget 200 for that. Offering, so I do this based off of what my monthly income is. And this is something that, you know, I think that everyone should do tithes and offering, but it is totally up to you what you are comfortable with, what fits into your budget, and again, just kind of what God is telling you to do. So for us, every month off of my main paycheck, we do $200. And then if we get other income, we will do offering off of those checks or income as well. But off of my main income, we do $200 every month. And then Disney, I am going to budget 15, and this is just for a Disney subscription. So once I get those budgeted in, I will also write in our due dates of when those are due. So let's just total all this up. So we got 205, 200, 15, 50, 350, 300, 100, 200, 12, 200, 200, and 15. So for our fixed expenses, we are budgeting $1,847. So on our worksheet, on the total, we'll write 1,847. So then again, we would take what our budget for our paycheck is, and we would take this amount here and subtract it from this amount here. And we would put that that's what's left over. Okay, so then we would bring that down to our variable expenses. Now, our variable expenses are things that change from time to time. So, first, our main variable expense is groceries. Okay, and then we do a household envelope, and this is for things like dish soap or body wash, laundry detergent, paper towels, toilet paper, things like that. So we do a household envelope. We do a snacks slash eating out envelope. And we have, so a lot of times people will just group groceries and food together. And you can do that. The reason I have it split up is because for me, when we really got into our budgeting journey, I had went back and printed off like 6 months worth of bank statements, and I sifted through those to see where is our money going, what are we spending all of our money on. And snacks and eating out was a huge chunk of our money. So we would go to like the gas station on Sunday mornings before church, and we would all get a snack, and we would buy like the boys juice, and Kyle and I would get energy drinks, or I would go and get coffee a lot. And so we would just, swipe the debit card, swipe the debit card, swipe the debit card. And so that added up a lot. So I broke these two apart because I wanted us to be very aware anytime we were buying snacks or stopping at the gas station or going and getting coffee or taking the boys and getting them chicken nuggets or whatever. So I broke that into its own category and gave us a strict budget on that. And since doing that, it's been amazing. We've really honed in on eating at home and cooking our dinners and our meals at home and getting snacks from home and not stopping and getting snacks because it's convenient. Um, so we also do I am like drawing a blank here. Let me look back. We do a self care slash beauty envelope, and this one is for um, like if the boys need diapers or wipes, or if um, I need makeup, I use that out of my self care. My husband, he likes to buy supplements for the gym, so he'll use that out of his self care. Haircuts, getting your nails done, whatever, that falls into that self care category. And then we do just a miscellaneous category. And our miscellaneous category is for any expenses that come up. So I know one night we went out, my husband and I went out to eat, and we had a gift card. Well, on the gift card, it said that you can't tip off of the gift card. So I took some money out of my miscellaneous account and used that for our tip, so that we didn't have to use any of our other money. So it could just be for those random things that come up. Like if your kid has a friend who all of a sudden is like, oh, I'm having a birthday party, come to my birthday. You can use that miscellaneous fund for those account or for those expenses, if you didn't have them budgeted out. So for our variable expenses, I budget 600 for groceries. I do 200 for household, which this is one that I really want to adjust. I think I'm going to go down to 100 because I almost never spend all this money. I rarely even spend $100 a month, and that's because I buy in bulk at like Costco. So I kind of am doing like a sinking at Costco or Sam's, wherever we go. I'm kind of working on doing a sinking fund for these expenses for when I do get bulk stuff like bulk laundry detergent and soap and sponges and toilet paper and whatever. And then just doing like a monthly budget of $100, or maybe even 50 for when just random things come up. So I'm still kind of trying to decide about that one. But for now, anytime I have leftover funds here, I'm just putting it aside for like a Sam's Club sinking fund or a household sinking fund. For snacks and eating out, sorry, I gotta go back and look again. We budget 300, and this is a portion for me, a portion for Kyle, a portion for the kids, and then a portion for eating out. Self care, we do 300, and again, this is for me, Kyle, and the boys. And then miscellaneous, we are doing 25 for me, Kyle, and the boys, so 75 total. So now that we have this amount here, let's add that up. We have 600 plus 200 plus 300 plus 300 plus 75. So 1475. And so we'll add that in our total here. And so again, if we had our total budget, let me zoom you back out here. So if we had our income budget, we would be taking our income, subtracting that from the fixed expenses, subtracting that from the variable expenses to find our leftover. And then our leftover would go up here into our savings goals. And this is where it gets fun for me because I am wanting to save. So, a few of our main savings, which I'm not going to fill the budget part in because I don't really know what I have left over right now. I could guess, but I these are some of the things that I do. So I do 100 envelope challenge every month. So I will budget something for that. Typically, I budget $50. Um, as I go through this and I see like what I have left over, I generally will then kind of break that down into these funds. So, like, what is important to me right now? What is the most important thing? So, our emergency fund, I'm working on building that up right now. My goal is to get it to 2000. So I'll see what that's at the end of these months. And then I kind of look at that and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm only $50 away, or maybe I'm $100 away. So let's put most of that towards emergency. Or I'm really wanting to get this furniture, so maybe let's put $100 towards furniture. Whatever is important to you at that time is where you should be allocating those funds. So, like in July, I put a big chunk in birthday because my son's birthday is in August. So I know we're going to have to get him a gift, and we're going to throw him a party. So we may need party supplies and food for the party. Um, and so I did a kind of a big chunk of change from my July paycheck and put that towards my birthday fund for my son's birthday that I know is coming up. So you kind of think about things like that and what's important to you this month, what's important to you this paycheck, where do you want those savings to go. Um, you also can just put all of your leftover money into debt. So when I had debt, and I had a lot of debt, I would have any extra money I would put towards like my credit card that I had. And now it's paid off, so I don't have to worry about that. So that's another thing you can do as well. You can say, I don't think I want to save anything this month. I just want to put all my money towards debt. And that's okay too. And that's what we did for a while. We would take a little bit of money each month and put towards an emergency fund. So if something came up that we weren't prepared for, we would have those funds and we wouldn't have to put more money on credit cards. We would have that cash that we were saving, but then we would also take the bulk majority of it and pay off that debt so that we could get rid of it and we didn't have to have it anymore. And now that we don't have those credit card debts, that credit card debt, we're able to put that money towards our savings goals. And that's why sometimes my savings goals will look long and I'll have a lot of them, because now that I'm not trying to work on getting all this debt paid off, I can now work on saving for the things that we want to do and the things that are important to us, like taking a vacation, or potentially getting a new car, or working on house improvement projects. Or, we could put a business one here for expenses that we may want to throw into our new business adventure. So that's where you have to sit down and really think about what's important to you and where do I want my money going. And then you are able to see the big picture of all of your money. Now, over here on these fixed expenses, if you go through your fixed expenses and say you only get paid $1,500 a month, and you look at my fixed expenses, that's $1,847, and so you think, oh my gosh, how can I make this? What can I cut out of here? So I always recommend starting with things like TV. Cut out your TV, cut out your um, like the Kindle subscription would be one that if we didn't have the funds for, we would cut that out. We would maybe cut out the gym, cut out the music, maybe decrease some of our donations. But again, that's up to you and how you want where you want to cut your finances. And again, that those cutouts could only be short term until you're able to make make all your payments and get rid of all your debt. If we weren't able to afford our boat payment, I would say, hey, we should probably sell our boat because we can't afford that payment. Or let's go talk to Verizon and see how we can decrease our bill. Or let's talk to our internet or our electric company, see if we can decrease our bill there. So again, these are just some of those things that you sometimes don't know where your money's going until you really take pen and paper to it and figure out every little expense that is going to be coming out. One thing I did forget on my variable expenses that I'll have to add in is miscellaneous subscriptions. And I add this in here for things like um, my Apple Cloud or iCloud, um, Google Cloud, whatever it is. I usually have a payment come out every month for that, for like storage space. So I do have to add that in there. And so that will change our bottom number here just to 1857. And one thing that I do try and work on every month is figuring out where can I decrease these categories? How can I take some of our money and decrease in each of these categories so that I can increase in our savings categories? And again, that's one thing where, like I was talking about with the household money, how we don't hardly ever spend all of that money. So why don't we decrease it here and save here? And then if we end up needing it, we have that sinking fund. So we could, I could set a goal of like $500 in household. And once I hit that, then I don't have to worry about it. I have that $500 every month until I use it, and then I can replenish it as we go. But this reoccurring bill or this reoccurring expense, I can just decrease down to like $50 or whatever I want to adjust that to. And that might be something that I do adjust by the time I get to September. But I just wanted to kind of show you the layout and how I break down my budget and where I go from there. But again, with savings, you have to just figure out what is important to you. Where do you want any extra money you have going? Do you want it to go to savings? Do you want it to go to debt? Or do you just want to spend it on something? What is important to you right now with that extra money? And that's how this worksheet and this paycheck tracker helps me kind of keep track of all of those things and figure out what money I have and what I can allocate to savings and what is important to me right now. So I hope this video was helpful. Again, this is just how I budget out my paychecks, and everybody's paycheck is going to look different. Everybody's expenses are going to look different. And this is where, a workbook like this or a different kind of workbook would really help you just keep track of your funds and keep track of where your money's going. And that is the best way to get ahead of your finances, is by determining where exactly your money's going and know each and every transaction that comes out of your bank account or that you spend on cash. And one thing I wanted to add on here is that all of my fixed expenses stay in my bank account and they are automatically withdrawn. And then all of my variable expenses are what I do my cash stuffing with. So I hope this video was helpful, and I hope it inspires you to get a hold of your finances. And please be sure to share this with someone who may be looking to start a budgeting journey. I hope you all have a blessed day, and thanks so much for watching.